If you're in your late 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, and you've had that sinking feeling of, I should be further ahead with money by now, this video is for you. Most people think the answer is some secret stock, a hot crypto, or the perfect side hustle. But for the vast majority of real working adults, the difference between quietly becoming wealthy and quietly staying stuck comes down to one simple thing: whether you ever reach the 7% wealth rule and keep it. In this video, I'll show you what the 7% rule actually is, why 85% of people never get there, how to calculate your personal 7% number, and how to climb from where you are today to a place where compound interest, long-term investing, and time are finally working with you instead of against you. If you care about financial freedom, retirement planning, and building wealth in a calm, grown-up way, subscribe to Trip to Wealth right now so you don't miss the rest of this series. Now, you might be wondering what the 7% wealth rule actually is, and why so many investors swear by it. The 7% wealth rule is very simple, but incredibly powerful. Most people think about money in terms of income. I make $4,000 a month, $6,000 a month, $10,000 a month. But wealth isn't about income. Wealth is about how much of that income consistently flows into assets that build your net worth. The 7% wealth rule says this: as a baseline, at least 7% of your take-home income needs to be flowing into wealth-building activities. That could be investing in index funds, contributing to retirement accounts, paying down high-interest debt, or other moves that permanently increase your net worth. It's not a magic investment return. It's not a get-rich-quick hack. It's simply a behavior rule. Every month, at least 7% of what comes in must be directed toward your future. When you combine that with realistic investment returns and compound interest, time starts to do the heavy lifting for you. This is how ordinary people on ordinary incomes quietly build a 6- or 7-figure investment portfolio over 10, 20, 30 years. And if you're thinking, I'm nowhere near 7% right now, that's okay. In a moment, we'll build a ladder from where you are today up to that number. But first, we need to understand why 85% of people never make it there at all. Now let's dig into why 85% of people never reach that 7% threshold. The first big reason most people never reach 7% is the lifestyle creep trap. Imagine you're earning $3,000 a month after tax. At the beginning, maybe you're saving or investing 5%. Then you get a raise to $3,500. What happens? For most people, lifestyle expands to fill the new space. A slightly better car payment, a few more takeaways, a nicer holiday, more subscriptions quietly billing in the background. On paper, your income went up. In reality, your wealth-building percentage went down. You might still be putting in the same dollar amount, but as a percentage of your income, your wealth flow shrinks. This is why you see high-income people with almost no investments, no retirement planning, and constant financial stress. Their lifestyle grew faster than their wealth building. The 7% rule forces a different mindset. Whenever income rises, you commit to raising your wealth percentage first. Before you inflate lifestyle, you increase how much flows into long-term investing, debt repayment, and building assets. Wealthy people don't avoid lifestyle upgrades forever. They simply upgrade slower than their investments grow. That's the difference. In the next chapter, we'll look at two more traps: the later trap and the chaos trap that keep people stuck at 0-2% for years. The second trap is the later trap. It sounds like this: I'll start investing when the kids are older. I'll take retirement planning seriously when I make more. I'll start building passive income once the debt is gone. In other words, future me will deal with it. The problem is, future you never magically has more time, more discipline, or less chaos. Life keeps happening. And every year you delay, you're not just losing money, you're losing compound interest. If you wait 10 years to start, even a solid long-term investing plan has to work much harder just to catch up. The third trap is the chaos trap. Your money feels like constant firefighting. Bills, surprises, card payments, kids' expenses. There's no clear system, no budget you trust, no automation. In that environment, 7% never consistently appears because every month feels like starting from zero. Instead of being the calm investor, you become the reactive payer of invoices. To escape these traps, we need structure. A simple, boring system that quietly pushes you from 0 to 2% up to 7% and beyond. That's where the 7% ladder comes in. Now let's map out a practical step-by-step roadmap for climbing the 7% ladder, from 0% all the way to 15% and beyond. Stage 1 is simply getting to 3%. If you take home $4,000 a month, 3% is $120. Your only job at this stage is to prove to yourself that every month, no matter how messy life feels, 120 leaves your current account and goes toward wealth building, an index fund, a retirement account, or extra payment on high-interest debt. The easiest way to do this is automation. Set it up once so it happens without motivation. Stage 2 is moving from 3% to 7%. You don't do this overnight. You use pay rises, bonuses, tax refunds, and small lifestyle cuts. Each time money increases, you increase your wealth percentage first. Over 12-24 months, you edge your way up to that 7% baseline. Stage 3 is optional, 7% to 10 to 15% if you really want financial independence faster. Here, you're using every tool you can. Side income, debt reduction, smarter spending. At this stage, your identity is, I'm someone who always pays my future self first. This ladder is how you go from chaos to control without swinging from one extreme to another. In the next chapter, we'll calculate your personal 7% number and make this very real. Now, let's make this specific to you. Step 1. Take your monthly take-home income. Not your salary on paper, but what actually lands in your bank account after tax. Let's say, for example, that's $3,000 a month. Step 2. Multiply that number by 0.07. In this example, 0.07 times 3,000 is 210. That's your personal 7% wealth flow target. If you're at 0 today, that might feel big, but remember the ladder. Stage 1 is just 3%, then you work up. Let's do a couple of quick profiles. Someone earning $3,000 a month, consistently investing that 210 into a diversified index fund inside a retirement account at a realistic long-term return could be looking at a mid-six-figure portfolio over a couple of decades. Someone at $4,500 a month, 7% is $315. Over 20-25 years, that decision completely changes their retirement. And to make this process easier, we are building the Trip to Wealth Command Center, a Google Sheets system that tracks your income, spending, investing, and net worth in one place. It acts as a strategy hub that reveals money leaks, growth opportunities, and how small changes compound. Join the early access list below. The tool will be out soon. Once you know your 7% number, the decision becomes very clear. Are you willing to become a person who always pays that amount to your future self? Now let's explore the identity shift, the transformation required to actually become a 7% person, not just someone who talks about it. Money strategies matter, but identity is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. Let's look at two identities. The 0 to 2% person thinks, I'll save or invest whatever is left at the end of the month. They're reactive. Their lifestyle, their emotions, and other people's expectations decide what happens to their money. They might occasionally throw a few hundred into investing for beginners when they feel guilty, but there's no consistent system. 5 years go by and their net worth barely moves. The 7% person thinks, I pay my future self first. For them, that 7% wealth flow is not optional. It's like rent or the electricity bill. They're not perfect, but their default is that a piece of every paycheck goes towards long-term investing, retirement planning, and reducing high-interest debt. Over time, this identity creates very different behavior. The 7% person doesn't need constant motivation from YouTube videos. The system runs even when they're tired, busy, or stressed. Ask yourself honestly, right now, which identity do your actions match? Not your intentions, your actions. You don't need to jump to perfection. but you do need to decide which identity you're going to grow into over the next 12 months. A common question is, okay, I'm convinced about 7%, but where does it actually go? The answer will depend on your situation, but let's keep it simple and grounded. If you have high-interest consumer debt, a chunk of that 7% might initially go to extra repayments. Paying off a 20% interest rate card is, in effect, a very high-return investment. You're removing a guaranteed drag on your net worth. For long-term wealth building, many people use low-cost index funds and ETFs inside retirement accounts or tax-advantaged accounts. You don't need to be a stock-picking genius. You can follow a boring, diversified approach, use dollar-cost averaging, and let compound interest do its job over 10, 20, 30 years. If your retirement planning is behind, a portion of the 7% might go into those accounts specifically to catch up. If you're ahead, some might go into a simple taxable brokerage account, building future passive income. The key is not finding the perfect product. The key is that every month, a minimum of 7% of your income is leaving your spending world and entering your wealth world. Once that habit is in place, you can optimize and refine where it goes. Let's pull this together. The 7% wealth rule says at least 7% of your take-home income must consistently flow into activities that build your net worth. Not someday, not when life is less busy. Now, in the middle of your real life with kids, bills, and obligations. We saw why 85% never get there. Lifestyle creep, the I'll start later story, and financial chaos with no clear system. Then we built the 7% ladder. Start with 3%, automate it, then gradually move to 7%, and optionally to 10-15% if you want financial independence faster. You calculated your personal 7% number so you know exactly what this looks like in your actual currency, in your actual life. And we talked about identity, the difference between a 0-2% reactive person and a calm, 7% person who quietly lets compound interest and long-term investing work for them. Your next step is simple. Decide your current stage on the ladder, set up your first automated percentage, and start behaving like a 7% person this month, even if the percentage is small. If you want to see what happens when you keep that going for 10 years, watch my video on the 10-year compounding rule next. That's where this really gets powerful. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to leave your comment below, especially if this video made you think differently. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.